All right, I think I'm live. All right, team, what's going on, everyone? This is Zen here from Zen Multiverse, and I hope you're having a phenomenal day so far. So, we have a brand new comic book that just came out, and I read it not too long, about 10 minutes before the stream, and it is Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So, overall, this is created by IDW, and Boom Studios does nothing short than bringing together just a line of fantasy and just awesomeness all together. So I was particularly excited for the book, but also it was a good book overall, right? So now let's get into the story. But before that, drop a like and time to hit that intro.
This one is for the teacher who passed me the math test face down and didn't think I was gonna become successful. This is for 9 times 9 equals 81.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother.
Let's go!
All right, team. So, what is this all about, right? How do the Power Rangers end up fighting Godzilla? So they do it in a really simplistic and unique way. So when we're opening the book, we see Rita Repulsor and her minions are basically in this cave, right? And they're searching for something, some all-powerful item, right? This crystal of the sorts, right? I'm using the simplest and bland terms possible, that can grant the user miraculous abilities, right? To alter reality on, I would say a micro scale, right? Or a universal scale, depending on the user. Now, we know Rita Repulsor to be a really powerful sorceress, and she acquires this along the way, right? Along the way, or in the side, we have the Green Ranger, which is Tommy Oliver, and he is on a recon mission, right? This recon mission is basically to see what Rita Repulsa is doing. So during this time, she acquires this item, right? This crystal of sorts, from these temple, I would say, protectors, right? They ended up beating them and things of that nature. So she acquires it, and around the same time, Tommy Oliver comes out and he's like, Rita, you better drop that. And they start fighting and things of that nature. But she's using it, right? She's using it to go to Earth. She wants to go to Earth, where basically she just wants to transport to her Earth, right? In the sense of going somewhere where the Power Rangers don't exist. And you know what she does? She does. She literally goes to her Earth where the Power Rangers don't exist. And they're transported to this area, and her minions are basically like, you could have gave us the heads up. And they're looking around, and the whole entire area just looks pretty much decimated, right? And it is Angel Grove, where the Power Rangers reside, their living space, and pretty much their community, essentially. And while they're looking around, they notice that there are two humongous beings that are fighting each other, and one comes in the form of Godzilla, and the other one comes in the form of another beast. Now, she's very intrigued by this, right? Because she's just kind of thinking, like, look at these miraculous beasts wrecking havoc, right? And she looks up and she notices that there's a spacecraft, a UFO spacecraft, and she's like interested how they're watching, and it piques her interest even further. So she decides to teleport to these space watchers. And those of you who know of the Godzilla series know these individuals to be, um, th- they're from Planet X. Now, Planet X has sent many different, um, well, they've sent these titans, right? These kaiju to fight Godzilla, right? And they have always failed. And as she's talking to them, they come to kind of strike a deal. But not along, but while this is happening, the Green Ranger has also transported with them, just the Green Ranger himself. And the Green Ranger starts to fight Godzilla, right? It's pretty epic. So let me just go to some of these scenes right here. So as you're looking right here on the left hand side, you can see Godzilla fighting the Dragon Zord, which is an epic battle in itself. But here's the thing. Now the Godzilla is basically decimating the Dragon Zord. What's going on, Raging? And the Green Ranger Tommy Oliver is just like, what the hell? Like, how is he just like decimating my Dragon Zord? But you have to think about the scale of a Titan, not in terms of size, but just in terms of prowesses, right? Where he has his atomic beam. And I've talked about the powers of Godzilla and how vast they really are, right? Now remember, in no battle that we've ever seen in terms of Godzilla, right? Godzilla has never been beaten by the humans, right? He's always been subdued in a way where Godzilla basically decided on what he's gonna do, right? He's never said like, "Oh man, I'm so defeated by the humans. They got me. They're more powerful than me." No, he's always reigned supreme, right? It took another kaiju to beat a kaiju in that sense. And while the Power Rangers do have heavy heavy displays of power when it comes to their Zords, it's not enough for Godzilla, right? So during this whole entire time, the Power Rangers are basically looking for Tommy Oliver while they're in their version of Angel Grove. So Zordon is talking to them and saying, well, he basically can find them, right? He just has to lock onto the signature, which is a little bit kind of far-fetched when you think about it. I mean, everything is kind of far-fetched when you're talking about Power Rangers and Godzilla, but for them to transport to a whole nother Earth based on the energy signature, there should have been a little bit more explanation on that, but it is what it is for the comic, and I still enjoyed it. So what happens is they lock onto his signature and they teleport over there. The Power Rangers teleport to this alternate version of Angel Grove where Godzilla does reside. And during this time, the controller of Planet X is talking with Rita Repulsa, and they decide to basically take out their worst enemies, right? For Planet X, their worst enemy comes in the form of Godzilla, and for Rita Repulsa, it comes in the form of the Power Rangers. So they basically say, hey, let's work together and let our two enemies fight each other, right? So we're kind of it's a quick and short story, but really interesting and easy to read, right? And then we come to the conclusion of this book with this last page and panel, just seeing someone from Planet X, right, with Rita Repulsor, but also all of the Power Rangers just on the ground with Godzilla in the background. Now, throughout this book, we did see Rita Repulsor try to grasp and take over the mental scape of Godzilla, but she was unsuccessful. And the Planet X people were like, yeah, don't think that this is going to be easy task. Godzilla is Godzilla for a reason, right? And we come to know his mental prowesses and also his power alone are on a really grand scale, right? So now let's talk about just theories, right, about this book and the next one. If I was to rate this book in terms of just being plain fun, right, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, right? Did it have a really deep story? No. Rita Repulsor went into a temple. She ended up beating the temple guards people, right? And took their crystal, their chrysalis, or whatever it might be called, and utilized that power in order to transport herself to a place where the Power Rangers didn't exist, and she successfully did. And on that Earth, Godzilla is there, right? What's going on, Fair? Appreciate you for coming now. Appreciate Raging and Fair. Shout out to you all. And let me just put on the chat too, so I could see the chat at the same time. So she basically came to this Earth, and the Planet X people were there, but this is also a planet where the kaiju reside, right? And they're really powerful. And Godzilla is the most powerful kaiju there ever was, right? So it's a really simple story. Rita got some power. She transported to an alternate Earth, along with Tommy Oliver by accident, and Zordon traced that signal to where that possible Earth was by going by the Green Ranger power scale. The Power Rangers teleported it over there, and now the Planet X personnel and Rita Repulsor are working together. So that's the story in a nutshell. Simple, easy to read. What are my hopes and dreams and my theories for this? I think eventually what's going to happen is that the two are going to. I do think. Here's what I'm really hoping for. Blaze Blue. It's okay. Blaze Blue is okay for me. But yeah, going back to the story, what I do think is going to happen is the Power Rangers are going to fight against Godzilla. They're going to lose, right? And I think in some type of way, Godzilla is going to regain consciousness, and they're going to use their Zords in order to, I don't want to say combine with Godzilla, but I think they're going to give him like some kind of armor, right? They're going to utilize their Zords to give him some kind of armor, and they're going to combine together. But I think Rita and the Mutant X people are going to enhance each other, right? What I mean is that the the mutant, not the, I said the mutant before, the Planet X personnel are gonna summon their most powerful kaiju ever, right? And then Rita Repulsor is going to enhance that power. And I think it's going to be up to Godzilla and the Megazord, or the Megazord combined with Godzilla. When I say combine, I don't mean they're actually going to combine, because you remember, one is mechanical and the other is comes in the form of is bio, right? But what I do think is going to happen is that they might utilize their Zords in order to create armor for Godzilla to then beat this big bad, right? In some type of way, right? I don't know. It's just a theory that I have for the next, not for the next book, but coming closer to the end of the book, right? Again, I do think that the Power Rangers are going to try to bring their Zords together and fight off Godzilla, and they are going to lose, right? And I also think that going by this last panel, right? If you guys can see, right, that I think Rita will be successful in taking over Godzilla. She wasn't successful in this book, but I think she will gain the ability to take over his mindscape, and eventually they're gonna release this, right? The Power Rangers will release the power that she has over him, and somehow they're gonna help Godzilla. How are they gonna convince Godzilla? I'm not too sure, but I think it's gonna be reminiscent to like a King Kong, right? King Kong versus Godzilla, where they're both reaching a means to an end, right? Where Godzilla is just pretty peeved, right? Pissed off that Rita Repulsor keeps trying to do things to his mind, and then there's these Planet X people, and he's just pissed off. So they work together, they form an alliance, but it's not a direct alliance, right? It's just like, hey, I see that you're trying to fight off these people too, so I'm gonna fight off these people too with you, and that's about it, right? Again, it's just IDW and Boom Comics, they just make some really fun books. Now, I remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teaming up with the Power Rangers, and some of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ended up getting power. They were able to utilize the Power Ranger abilities to then transform into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Power Rangers, and it was pretty cool and epic. I think it was a six book, and I think this one is going to be. I'm not too sure if it's a 5 or a 6 book series, but pretty cool overall. I have nothing else to say about this. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. Do I want to read the next book? Absolutely. I want to read the next book, see how it is, and see what's gonna go on for the future of this story. And it's gonna be something that's, it's not gonna change the scape of everything, but a lot of these comic books where crossovers come out specifically to for the toys, right? Eventually, the figures that come out at the end. So I'm pretty sure that we're not just gonna see Godzilla and then the Power Rangers, but we're gonna see like a combination of the two in some type of way, right? With the Zords, and I think that's gonna be pretty cool overall. But let me know what you think about this book. Let's go through some of the panels one more time before we end our stream and reaction. So we have, this is just Godzilla versus the Dragon Zord, which is probably my favorite Zord. But as you can see on this right hand side, Godzilla is decimating the Dragon Zord. It is no contest at all, right? And then here's one more panel. We're gonna look at two more panels, and here's another panel where the Power Rangers teleport to this version of Earth that houses Godzilla, right, in Angel Grove, right, and then we get that to be continued. And as you can see at the bottom screen, um, Godzilla looks like he's ready to just terrorize, right? And then here's the, of course, this is a big spoiler, but at the end, this is a preview into the next issue. And as you can see from the eyes, Godzilla seems to be controlled at this point by Rita Repulsor. How do we know? Because if we look at a previous panel, his eyes are red, but when we look here, we could see the pupils here, and then from here, he looks like he's being charged by some kind of red electricity, when usually it's a blue color, right? So that gives you remnants into him being controlled by Rita Repulsor. And then on the right, we do see, I guess it could be a commander of the sorts from the planet X, right? That's standing right above Tommy Oliver. But with that being said, everyone, this is Zen from Zen Multiverse saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you all later for the next one. All right, team.